performance-based marriage is love is given and taken away based on how well your spouse is doing. So your spouse is having a good day and they're being really thoughtful and kind and checking on you, and then you're really nice in return. But then your spouse is having a hard day and is distracted and is cold, and then you withdraw from them or you snap at them. So the marriage is kind of on the roller coaster of the performance of the spouses. A grace marriage is different. A grace marriage is built on the grace and forgiveness of Jesus Christ. Like the foundation of the marriage is, well, I was yet a sinner, Christ died for me. How do I love my spouse? As I've been loved. So I love my spouse despite my spouse's struggles, as opposed to holding their struggles against them. So just yesterday, Marilyn, I did something that bugged Marilyn. She addressed it with me, we talked, but our marriage is as great this morning as it was yesterday. Why? It's because our marriage is based on grace. So love and kindness and gifts and physical affection. It's a free gift of grace because I choose to love you. It's not a reward. Just like God gave us a free gift of grace because he chose to love us and gives us not based on our merit, but based on his love. The Communio Barna study shows 72% of churches have no marriage ministry. The typical church, and this was our church before I became marriage pastor at our church, we did premarital counseling and crisis counseling. I've had pastors say, I noticed the only thing I was missing in the marriage ministry was the marriage itself. It's like, okay, we'll get you ready for marriage. And if you ever just hate each other and want a divorce, call us and we'll pour a ton of resources in you and hope we can fix you. And I just realized that's just a bad model. So the vision would be that every Bible-believing church would have an effective discipleship shepherding strategy for marriage. And that's what grace marriage does. When the atmosphere of your home is grace, it's a safe place. It's a kind place. It's not a harsh place. I don't feel like I'm walking on eggshells. My spouse is quick to forgive me. They focus on my positives. I just feel the grace of God through my spouse toward me. That creates an atmosphere that there's much more likely to be physical intimacy. When you have a controlling atmosphere that's harsh, that's difficult, that's challenging, there ends up a lack of desire for intimacy and the couples end up not coming together. So really grace opens up the doors for greater and more meaningful intimacy. Prayer is, it's really the key to everything. My mentor said, God can do more in a millisecond than we can do in 1,000 lifetimes. My mentor said, why do you spend so much time trying to perform well and so little time petitioning the Father? All the power is in God. All the power is in God. And when, unless he moves, and we were talking about, prayer as it relates to what Tom asked about churches across the country and people change, that won't happen unless God changes the hearts of churches and people. There's nothing we can do to change that, but God can change it in a millisecond. So prayer is vital, prayer is crucial. And when you pray and go to God and spend time with God, it settles you down because you abide in him, and then the fruits of the Spirit in Galatians come out, and people with the fruits of the Spirit tend to be more easily married to than those that are always frustrated and stressed. Grace is not tolerating abuse. It's not tolerating infidelity. And grace is not ignoring issues. A big thing is, if I put my marriage under grace, I'll be a doormat. I'll give my spouse a jerk license. No, it's you just offer your love as a free gift to your spouse, but you address issues. And Marilyn will tell me, I love you and I love our marriage too much not to talk about this. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the things grace is not, but it's really, we don't want anybody ever in the name of grace just tolerating things they shouldn't tolerate: narcissism, abuse, infidelity.